In today's video, we're going to continue our 2018 Prospect Series report, and we have a special guest joining us as well. Today's team we're discussing is the Chicago BlackHawks, and that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. As I mentioned off the top, today we're covering all the top prospects here for the Chicago BlackHawks. Now joining me today as a special guest is Andy LaHoo of NHL Draft Central. If you're not already familiar with NHL Draft Central here on YouTube, I highly recommend you go check it out. I'm going to have it linked down below in the description. He had a great series covering a lot of the 2018 draft prospects, and he's already working on the 2019 prospects as well. So if you want to keep up with all the latest information on prospects and great scouting reports, then I highly recommend you check out Andy's channel. So how we're going to do this is we're going to count down the top 6 prospects that we believe that are in the Chicago Blackhawks system here, and we're going to hand it over to Andy to get us started.
Well, thank you, Mike, for having me. I'm Andy LaHoo from NHL Draft Central, and not many of you know it, but I'm a big Blackhawks fan. So I'm very happy to cover Chicago top prospect. So let's start with the 6th best prospect for the Chicago Blackhawks, Niklas Nordgren. Selected 74th in the 2018 NHL Draft, Nordgren is, in my opinion, the steal of the last draft. Nordgren is a 5'9" Finland winger. He played last season with HIFK in the Junior A SM Liga, collecting 13 goals and 42 points in 28 games. And if you don't know, that's one of the best projections ever for a U18 player. He had better stats than Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen in their U18 season. On the ice, Niklas Nordgren is just an energy ball, going for dangle and flashy play. He's everywhere on the ice, and even if he's only 5'9", you always notice him on the ice. If you like goals, you will like him. So, Blackhawks fan, we might just have found our next Alex DeBrincat. I had him as a first rounder, but finally he was drafted in the 3rd round, so it's an excellent pick for the Blackhawks. Honestly, in those 6, he's my favorite player, and I'm really looking forward to maybe see him at the next level.
The number 5 ranked prospect we have today is Jake Wise, 2018 draft selection, center iceman coming out of the United States National Team Development Program. He's going to be attending Boston University this fall. Jake Wise is a center iceman who's got a pretty sturdy frame. He's not overly tall, he's about 5'10", but he's 190 pounds. So like I said, he's really thick and sturdy, so knocking him off the puck is something that's a little bit challenging to do. His offensive abilities are pretty strong, but he can also be used in a defensive zone on a penalty kill in those types of situations as well. Jake Wise is a really strong stick handler. He's really good at keeping the puck away from the defenders. He's got a very quick release, a very good accurate shot. He's probably guilty of not using that shot quite enough, but based on where his offensive abilities are, I think he's a pretty complete player, but he doesn't have high-end offensive abilities in my opinion. For me, Jake Wise is likely a number 2, number 3 center iceman who can be relied upon in a lot of different situations. Like I said, he does have some offensive upside, but he's a pretty complete player as well. With Jake Wise going to Boston University this fall, he's likely going to be at least a couple seasons away before he turns pro. From there, I would imagine he'll need a little bit of seasoning in the American Hockey League before he makes the jump here to the NHL.
The 4th best prospect for the Hawks is Nicolas Baudin. The 27th selection of the 2018 NHL Draft is an offensive defenseman. He's mostly known for his vision and passing abilities. Putting up 15 goals and 80 points in 78 QMJHL games with Drummondville, Baudin is a power play specialist, and with a mix of excellent passing and his good wrist shot, he's a jack of all trades offensively. His hockey senses are excellent, and he does every little thing right. He reads the play very well and is able to adapt to his opponent fairly easily. He's not the best skater, and his defensive game needs some work, but we can get hype about him with his talent and offensive skill. He comes from the new generation of puck mover offensive defensemen and will fit nicely with other top prospects on defense for the Chicago Blackhawks. Baudin could definitely become a top 4 for the Hawks in the next couple of years.
Next up, the number 3 ranked prospect we have here is Dylan Sikura. Now, Sikura actually got his feet wet with the Hawks last year, got into 5 games, put up 3 points, looked pretty solid. I do fully suspect him to get a much bigger opportunity here in the 18-19 season. Dylan Sikura was originally a 2014 draft selection, but went the college route before turning pro. Played his college hockey at Northeastern University, had one heck of a college career, being a Hobey Baker finalist on more than one occasion. He's a highly skilled offensive player, but he's also a pretty good two-way player as well. Certainly projects to be a really solid top 6 forward. He can play center, but he can also play wing as well, so there's some versatility there on what position he can play. I fully suspect Dylan Sikura to make the team at a training camp this year for Chicago, get into the lineup, play a regular role. He may or may not be a top 6 forward right away this year, but I certainly see him being a top 9 forward for sure, especially where he does have a pretty solid two-way game, but I do see him being a top 6 forward in the future for sure for the Chicago BlackHawks.
The second best prospect for Chicago is Henry Rocky-Ariou. Selected 29th in the 2017 NHL Draft, Rocky-Ariou got 15 goals and 79 points in 75 WHL games. On the ice, Rocky-Ariou is more of a two-way defenseman. He's an excellent passer and skater. He can work on the power play, 5v5 and penalty kill. Every aspect of his game is above average. He got a great first pass, he stays calm in the zone even when he's under pressure, and he's also excellent in the neutral zone where he can create plays fairly quickly. He's not the most exciting player to watch, but he's super effective. Expect him to get a roster spot in the 2019-20 season.
Next up, we have our number 1 absolutely top prospect in the Blackhawks system here, and that is defenseman Adam Boqvist, the 2018 first round selection out of Sweden, an absolutely offensively gifted defender here. Adam Boqvist is one of the best skaters in the 18 draft. He has a tremendous offensive upside. This guy can rush the puck. He's a great passer. He can get that puck from one end to the other in the net almost on his own. He does draw some comparisons to a player like an Erik Karlsson. I've heard comments from Adam Boqvist saying that Karlsson was his favorite player and he models his game after him, so you can certainly see the comparisons when they're on the ice for sure. I mean, the Blackhawks, I think, are very fortunate to be able to draft this guy. Obviously, there's going to be likely some defensive mistakes in their early going. As we know, a lot of young defenders take some time to adjust the defensive side of the game, but really the offense he's going to provide will more than make up for those mistakes. Obviously, the Hawks are going to have to be a little bit patient with that, as well as the fans. You might see some defensive mistakes, but like I said, he'll more than make up for it on the other end of the rink. But likely, as he continues to grow and develop here and get stronger, that defensive game will certainly get better over time. And at the end of the day here, in a few years' time, I can certainly see him being a top defender here in the NHL. So again, I'd like to thank Andy LaHoo of NHL Draft Central for coming on and giving his thoughts and insights here on some of these top prospects for the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, you definitely want to check out his channel and go subscribe. He has a lot of great prospect videos, and you won't be disappointed in the content at all, so go check it out. Now next up, I want to do a quick summary here of all their 2018 NHL Draft selections. So I'm going to put a graphic here full screen so you can see the full summary, and we'll go through all of their picks from the 2018 Draft. Now, obviously, some of these players we've already discussed here briefly. Their first selection, number 8 overall, the great offensive defenseman out of Sweden, Adam Boqvist. Their second first-round pick, number 27 overall, defenseman out of Drummondville, Nikolai Baudouin. Obviously, you heard Andy speak about him. In the third round, they took center iceman Jake Wise, number 69 overall. Obviously, we spoke about Jake Wise as well. Also, in the third round, number 74 overall, they took Nikolai Norgren, right winger from Finland. We already spoke about him as well. In the fourth round, number 120th overall, they took a center iceman from the Quebec Ramparts in the QMJHL, Philip Kurashev. In the fifth round, number 139 overall, they took another center iceman from the USHL Muskegon, Mikhail Hakkarainen. In the sixth round, number 162, they took goaltender Alexis Gravel of the Halifax Mooseheads. And in the seventh round, number 193, they took a left winger from the USHL, Josiah Slavin. So that's our recap here for the 2018 NHL Draft. Obviously, they had a lot of picks. They put them to good use. They got a good mix of players here. Obviously, they got some defensemen. They got some center icemen. They got a goalie. Alexis Gravel might be a sleeper pick then later in the draft. It might actually turn out to be a pretty good goalie. He's a player I've seen play, and I certainly had him going earlier in the draft than where he was selected. So maybe that'll be potential steal here for the Blackhawks in the future. If you're new to the channel here, hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams. There's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.